Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming back. This is the All Meat, Hold the Anchovies podcast. Is that still out or is that still on your desk? Is that an ornament?
It's an ornament that I found in my child's room, who's already married and doesn't live here anymore.
Oh.
It's a penguin with a hat, a Santa hat, and a green scarf.
Nice. We just, Terry spent the weekend packing up our winter decorations, not Christmas, but winter snow decorations. And it worked because we had snow on Saturday.
Dude, we had a ton of snow. By the way, I'm Dwaine. This is David. We're talking about snow.
Was that a recent picture you sent me?
I don't know, but we had snow Friday night at midnight. It snowed and we got like 2 inches.
And then you said it was like 70 or something, right?
Oh yeah, it was 70 Friday during the day, and then at midnight it snowed.
You had a bunch too.
2 inches, yeah.
But I mean, it covered. Yeah, it was a solid covering because I'm like, that must be old pictures. Why is he sending me old pictures of snow?
Yeah, I didn't know I sent you pictures.
Yeah.
Oh.
You didn't? You forgot?
You know what, David? I'm actually concerned.
No.
I'm not kidding. So Sunday morning, my really good friend Mark was teaching, right?
Yeah.
So I snuck to the table where he was sitting, and I took his notes, right? And I hid them under my Bible. Okay.
Yes.
So he gets up there and he's sitting down. This is a prank, right? This is a prank. What are you showing me? There's the picture I took of Pepper.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a prank. There is no way in the world that I would stop a prank in the middle of it. And apparently I did. He never looked like, where's my notes or anything. And the guy that was sitting next to me, who's also my friend, like we three hang out, he said, why'd you give him his notes back? And I said, I didn't. One of you did. David, I got up, put the notes on the table, and sat back down, and I don't remember doing it. And it doesn't even make logical sense why I would do it. But I did it. And it took me a full 24 hours to acknowledge that I did it, because I am so sure that I didn't do it. But now I know I did it because Mark said, yeah, you handed it to me. Then, hold on. Go
ahead.
Then today, I'm not kidding you. I'm going to start a log on this because you're laughing. What if I'm going senile?
Because you're serious. That's what's so funny.
I am.
You're actually serious.
Today, I went to eat steak for lunch, right? And I ordered a ribeye.
Please tell me you didn't forget that.
No, it was good.
Okay, good.
And I got half of the steak in my refrigerator. I can't wait to have tomorrow. But anyway, so I'm looking at the steaks. There's a 12-ounce ribeye and there's a 16-ounce ribeye. And I say in my head, I don't want the 16-ounce. I'm going to get the 12-ounce, and then I order the 12-ounce. Okay? Mm-hmm. I get the bill, 16-ounce. I said, I ordered a 12-ounce. Both the guy I was eating with and the waitress said, no, you ordered a 16-ounce. And I said, I ordered a 12. I know I did. And they said, nope, you ordered a 16.
Oh, my. And your friend said that.
Yeah.
He confirmed it.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on, man.
Now
I did start taking some new medicine, but it's been 3 weeks since I started it.
So about a month ago, I was doing pre-cooking for an event, a catering event. So I was cooking the night before here. I do a lot of prep work. Mm-hmm. And to me, my kitchen is like my office. I have a TV in there. I've got everything I need except for a restroom, but I got, all my work table, my counters, my sink. And I knew I was going to be in there a while. So I got my TV going, got a series playing, and Hill Street Blues. I'm actually on the last season of that. Disappointing.
I'm starting Better Call Saul over.
Yeah, because that's coming back. So, and I go to wash my hands. I want to clean up the sink because I don't like cooking when there's dirty stuff around. I want to clean the counters, clean the sink. And the soap dispenser is almost empty. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be washing my hands a lot, so I'm just going to fill that. And I'm looking at the TV, and it's doing the pre-credit scene, the very first scene of the show. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to watch this, and as soon as it goes to credits, it'll take about 45 seconds. I'll go get the soap refill out of the hall closet. I come in here and fill it up. Take it back. It'll take me 45 seconds. I can keep watching the show. Don't have to pause it, fast forward, nothing. So I undo the top of the soap, sit it on the counter, and turn and watch the opening part of the show. Here comes the credits. And I'm still thinking, when those credits hit, I got a chore.
No.
The credits hit.
No.
And I take off from the sink to the refrigerator, and I stop. What am I supposed to be doing?
I thought you were going to say it was filled with soap.
No. I
was like, oh my goodness, your house is haunted.
No. So I go to the refrigerator and I'm looking at the TV credits. I'm thinking, why was I supposed to leave the kitchen during the credits?
Oh yeah.
Where I said, well, I'm just going to walk to my bedroom. I'll get there and I'll see something that will say, oh, that's why you came in here.
That's what always happens.
Went to the bedroom. There's nothing in here I need in the kitchen right now. All my books, all my directions on my list, my prep is all in the kitchen. Like, daggone it. I'm starting to walk back in the kitchen. Meanwhile, I've walked past the closet twice with the refill soap.
Right.
Walking back into the kitchen. I'm still hearing the credits, and I'm thinking, if I can remember, I've probably got about 12 seconds left before the show comes on. And I walk into the kitchen, and they're sitting right on the kitchen sink counter is an open bottle of soap laughing at me.
Yes.
It was laughing at me. So this got me talking to the group in our Connect group, our small group on Sundays. And Terry and I are the youngest ones in the class. Well, we're second youngest by like 6 months. There's another couple who are almost identical. And we're joking about our age. And our teacher, Ray, Ray, and Ray goes, well, I'll tell y'all what, if I wasn't teaching this class, I would be qualified for the third adult group because of his age. He goes, but I'm teaching, so I'm in this class. And we started talking about memory, and we started talking about, different things we remember here and there. And I said, what's the earliest memory y'all have of your life, of your childhood? Is there something you can, and I don't mean look at a picture and say, oh, I remember going to that place. I mean, can you close your eyes and come up with a memory? How far can you go back? And there's a couple for me that are, one's traumatic, but it wasn't traumatic at the time. I was about 14 or 15, probably 14. I was very active in the youth group, and we went on a weekend retreat, and we went to this place that had a waterfall. And the whole group would hike to the base of the waterfall. It had a couple pools. We'd swim. Yeah. And since I was now in the high school group, so I was in the younger group, probably 14 or 15, we got to hike up to the top of the waterfall, which took about 20, 25 minutes to climb up there, and you go to the top. And you get to the top, you look over, and the pool looks way down there. It looks about a mile down, but it's probably like 40, 50 feet. It's not that far. But one of the guys gets the idea, hey, let's race leaves over the waterfall. We pull off a leaf off a tree. Race leaves. Like,
okay.
Pull a leaf off a tree, because we're at the top of the waterfall, standing where the water's going over. It's not rushing. It's not real heavy or anything. Right. So we're safely standing up there on the rocks. We're all getting our leaves, so we drop them, and they go, and mine gets stuck like a third of the way to the edge of the waterfall. I said, oh, well, let me go get it, because that's a good leaf. I go to get it like an idiot who walks on a bowling alley, and as soon as I plant, my feet go out from under me because of the moss and the stuff. And I start sliding towards the edge of the waterfall.
Oh, my goodness.
So
how tall is this waterfall?
That's what I said. I would have called it a mile tall when we were there, but now thinking about it, it's probably about 30, 40 feet.
So what? That's like falling off the top of a 2-story house.
It is, and it felt taller, but it's tall enough that it probably could have hurt. So I slip and I fall, and I start sliding because it's very mossy, very slick.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting to
panicking.
Well, I wasn't panicking because I didn't think, I'm like, I'll just grab something and stand up. It's just rocks, not thinking that it's all slippery and moss covered, because the first two things I grab are dirt and they come loose. Yeah. So I'm sliding a little more. And by the time I grab rock, I'm like, gosh, I didn't think I'd ever going to grab rock. I'm still not panicking. And I turn and I kind of look at the ground. I've got a grip, and I go to get up to my knees, and my feet aren't touching anything because I have nothing to touch because my feet are over the waterfall.
Oh my goodness.
Just my ankles, just my ankles, not quite to my knees. And when I realized that, I'm like, oh, and then I kind of scrunch up to my knees. I got a good handle now, a good grip. And I look up at my friends and they're all bug-eyed because they're looking at me sitting near the edge of the waterfall.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm like, what? And I start crawling back towards them. I'm very safe. I was just thinking how I was going to get out of being in this situation because I was not going to be responsible for you going over that waterfall. They were freaking out.
What happened to human chains to save a friend's life?
These are teenagers who don't want to get caught toilet paper in somebody's
They're
house.
They're going to let you die?
They were it happened so fast and the distance was so short. They didn't get a chance to react. I'm not even sure. I know a couple of them saw it, but not all of them saw it. So I crawled up and got back up, and I was like, so I walked down the waterfall, and as I'm walking, realizing how tall it was then, I'm kind of shaking a little bit when I get down there, and our pastor goes, hey, did y'all have fun? Yeah, loads of fun, because if we told him what happened, we'd probably never be allowed to go up there again. It was kind of stupid anyway what I did. It's like when Terry walked over the bowling alley lane. I said, honey, let the ball go. Don't go. I'm just going to get it. Boom. She's sitting on the lane because you don't walk over the line of the bowling alley. It's super slick.
Well, David, talking about water, I came very close to dying when I was probably in 7th grade. No, 4th or 5th grade. Yeah, because I still lived in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to my friend's grandparents' house, and they had like a pond or a lake or something with a float on it, with one of those things that's on barrels, and you can swim under it and get underneath there, and there's air, right?
Oh no!
So they're all playing on the shore or whatever you call it on a lake, and I'm like, I'm gonna see if I can swim and touch the bottom. David, I swam until I needed to breathe. I kept swimming down.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh my gosh, well, David, the water was dark and I got disoriented and I didn't know which way was up.
Really?
So I just started swimming and scared to death that I wasn't going the right way. And I didn't think, I didn't know then I should have blown bubbles out and seen which way the bubbles went.
Yeah. How could you have seen them though?
Well, that's probably, I would have felt them.
Yeah.
I would have felt them. But David, I thought I was going to die. I am serious. I was so close, and I finally, it's like, oh my gosh, I made it. And I was like scared to death, and no one saw a thing. If I had died, they would have had no idea. And it was one of those things where, do y'all realize I almost died just now? And it wasn't me overreacting, David. I really almost died. And no, I mean, they wouldn't know the seriousness of what just happened and how it affected me.
But you're okay now.
I still remember that. I still remember it.
Yeah.
It was one of the scariest. It was the scariest moment of my life because I actually thought, I don't have any more breath. I have to breathe in, but I have no idea where the top of this water is.
Can you still picture the darkness of the water?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's what
vivid.
I'm talking about. That's the memories I'm talking about. How far back can you remember?
Well, now I have my very first memory of all time.
Let me go next because since you talked about a lake, were y'all on vacation?
No, I told you I was like 4th or 5th grade, and I went to my friend's grandma's house with her.
Oh, okay. We were at Crystal Lake.
Let me tell you something about that visit.
See, I've already forgotten that you told me at the beginning of that story.
Let me tell you something about that visit.
Go ahead.
They made eggs, scrambled eggs, and I asked for salt. And my friend got mad at me. He said it was rude to ask for salt because it insulted her cooking. I was like, it's eggs. Everybody puts salt on eggs. It's part of the recipe. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, technically, you're supposed to taste it first and make sure
they should put salt glands on the chicken's egg dispenser.
Just sprinkle a little as they come down. It'll be
all right. Anyway, go ahead.
No, just for future reference, you always taste at least a little bite and then salt. That way you know.
I did. I had tasted it.
Oh,
They were the blandest eggs in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. eggs are very bland without salt. So we were on vacation at Crystal Lake. I think it's in Carolina. And it's a very short story, but I do remember it, physically remember, because our families, with our other best friend families at the time, and I was probably about 8 or 9. I was definitely younger than 10. We were out there water skiing. And my brother and sister were learning how to water ski. Their whole family knew because they had the boat, so they were doing it in there. And Suzanne and Michael were time after time after time after time, and it was to the point where the sun was going down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I can do it tomorrow because I don't want to fail tonight since I'm last. I'm the youngest. And Randy Branham, the oldest brother, said, "Nah, come on, David. We'll give you a chance tonight. Come on, get in the water, and we'll go ahead and try a couple times and see if you can get up." I got up the first time.
Oh, nice.
The very first time ever I got up. And I could still feel the water under the skis that I was riding on, because it was one of those moments where, like, I want to scream and jump, but if I do, I'm going to fall.
Yeah.
I'm going to ruin it. So it's like, and my brother and sister are watching, because some of the kids had already gone up the pier and gone back in. It was so late.
It's an awesome memory.
And I'm like, I'm going to ride this until the boat runs out of gas.
I'm just try to go skiing again.
Funny you should mention that.
No, there's no.
No.
Oh man.
But yeah, I think that is, and that's a victory memory, because it's usually a victory or extremely horrible memory. Yeah. That is what you recall, like yours was. But that to me was probably one of my proudest kid moments. And even Randy said, "Dude, he took us back to the cabin." Actually, I think one of my brothers had already gone, but Randy took me back to the cabin where the family was. He goes, "I thought I was going to be out there another hour. Dave got up the first time he tried it." And I was like, "That's right. That's right." I was so proud. A little kid, and everybody's like, "Wow, okay, it's time to eat."
Yeah, really, they didn't.
and it was over.
Yeah. By the way, you asked me what tattoo I would get and where I would put it, and we got into this conversation so quickly that I haven't told you yet. So I'll tell you when we get to the end.
Okay. Did you get Connie's permission?
I'm not actually doing it.
No. As to what you would get and where you would put. Did you talk to her, or had you just been thinking about it?
She told me where I should put it, and I will tell you what she said. Whatever I tell you.
Connie's property on your forehead. Okay.
No, I said I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do it here, and she goes, "Really? You really need to put it." And she told me where to put it. So. Which reminds me of the Christmas tree angel on top of the Christmas tree joke. So I'll go ahead and tell you. Do you know how the angel came to be on top of the Christmas tree? How that tradition started?
Because his wings stopped working and he just fell down?
No.
Is that what hurt?
Because an angel went to Santa's house with a Christmas tree and said, "Where do you want this?" All right. Santa was in a bad mood.
I've never heard that.
Santa was in a bad mood. It's like, I'll tell you where to put it. And the tradition was born.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, what's with the Christmas theme this episode?
Oh, that's going to be another podcast, traditions.
All right. I have always known this, my earliest memory.
Okay.
To this day, well, when I told my mom this earliest memory, she goes, I remember the day I turned 3 years old.
Why?
I remember walking into the kitchen, looking up at my mom and saying, "I'm 3 today." And that's all I remember. But when I told my mom about the memory, I described the house, everything about it, you know, from the room to the kitchen. And she said, "Well, that's right." So I actually have that memory, my first memory. I also know what my second memory was.
What's that?
It's almost like I dreamed this, but I was right. My second memory was I was sitting on the top bunk in the room, and my mom was getting on to my brother for something.
Yeah.
And I don't know what my third memory is, but I remember my first 2 memories. Isn't that cool?
You remember your first 2 memories.
Yeah, shut up. So anyway, I also remember falling off a bunk bed. And okay, so I was young. It was the same bunk bed in the same room. I remember I was laying on the bunk bed and I fell off the wall side. David, I remember it feeling like it took 15 seconds to fall.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest thing.
That's funny because I remember now that you mention it, I remember being on the bottom bunk when the top bunk fell on top of me and my brother was on top of it.
What the heck? Are you serious?
It just fell through. And it might have been the slats had moved or something.
Yeah, that had
and it
to
fell
hurt,
through
man.
and I start yelling. And here comes my dad and he says, "You're yelling, so you must be breathing, so you must be okay."
So shut up.
I'm like, it's just a big box spring and mattress on top of me. It's not like it's a car sitting on top of me.
Right.
But I also remember when you talk about your memories and stuff, I can picture the day I went forward at my first church, and I can actually physically remember being baptized because when I got baptized, when I went back, one of my legs came up. And when it came back down, it was like the jackknife into a pool. And it splashed. So after the service, oh my gosh, I remember this. After the service, the pastor told my dad to take me back up on stage and see the pastor. And he says, "David, forever and ever, this church is going to remember that this page in this old Bible is wet because of your baptism."
Oh, wow.
I splashed. I think my right or left foot came up and came back down and splashed. Because when I came up, people were laughing. And they probably laughed because the choir got wet. But I do remember splashing, and I remember the pastor telling me this page is wet because of your baptism.
Yeah, that's funny.
Wow.
I want to go back to the bunk bed falling on you.
Yes.
Because today, while I was working out, I had a very scary thought. So I sat on the ball.
I love how the stories start with the ball.
I sat on the ball, and I had two 35-pound dumbbells in my hands.
Yes.
And what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to roll onto the ball so that my shoulder and my head are on the ball, and then I straighten my body, so I'm, really working on my core, and then I do one arm at a time presses.
Like a bench press. Like you're
like
on
a bench press, And I thought, if this ball breaks right now, I am dead because I'm holding 70 pounds above my head, and I could die if this stupid rubber ball breaks.
Right.
Because
you know what you got. You know what
I
you'd
almost
have to do.
don't want to do it anymore.
You know what you'd have to do.
I'm back in a room all by myself. I'd lay there and die.
No, you'd get up. You'd go to the office. We need to purchase another ball, a better ball. They make them better.
I'm putting together for way down the road, some of our really funny conversations, and you making fun of me working out with the ball is one of them. You're like I told you all this stuff, and you go, Dwaine, you want me to talk to my mom about teaching you how to work out with the ball? My 83-year-old mom. Anyway,
she's an expert.
You wanted me to tell you what are things I would not do on vacation that would scare me.
Right, because I was thinking about my memories, and I thought about the skiing, which was a vacation, and somehow on my feed, I guess it was on Facebook, popped up hot air balloon accidents.
No, that ain't happening. I didn't put that on my list, but I'm not getting up in a hot air balloon.
Okay, good. Well, let's talk about that before you get into your list, because there's no way I would do that.
Oh.
One, I can't think of a balloon big enough to hold me that I'm going to have to worry about. I'm not. I know they make them, but it looks like
extra,
there's a giant flame going up into a balloon that I know it's not supposed to burn.
I know.
But it's like, no, I know that probably
just keep going higher and higher and higher.
Yes. If suddenly the mechanism breaks and that flame doesn't go out, you're going up until the gas runs out.
Yeah, and you can't blow it out. Number one, you can't, and number two, if you did, it'd fall.
So number one on both of our do not do vacation list is hot air balloon trips. Especially
if they're not going to tie it down.
It's not that it wouldn't be a hot air balloon trip. No. Don't untie it. No. Right there. Stake me to the ground. We're not going more than 10 feet.
Well, when you go to like a fair or something, they'll have like the hot air balloons, and they'll be on a rope, and you get to go up like 50 feet.
Especially if they don't untie it.
Okay, number one on my list. You could not. Okay, maybe you could pay me enough, but I can't. I mean, bungee jumping. No way in the world am I bungee jumping. I know you're not bungee jumping.
Well, it's not that I worry the rope's going to break. I know the rope's going to break. And I wish I could do it because it looks so fun.
No, it does not look fun. It looks terrifying.
It looks fun when they go off a bridge and they go and they just swing underneath until they pull them back up or let them down. But it's like they go so close to the water. I'm thinking, I'm slightly bigger than that person. So when I hit the water, it's going to be hard. It's not going to be bungee back up into the bridge.
Oh, when you hit water that fast, it's like hitting a rock.
Exactly.
So do you think when you bungee jump, they adjust the bungees based on your weight?
Oh,
I don't know.
It's the rope is based on your weight. Yes. The rope that you use.
Okay.
I still wouldn't do it. It's not worth my life.
There's your way. And you see, that's the kind of thing that if it messed up, you would die. It's like those guys that walk up top of buildings and jump from one building to the other and it's like, if you slip, you're dead.
Yep.
Just not adventurous enough to do.
Now,
I like my life too much.
Would you, excuse me, because bungee was like number 2 on mine, so I'll say my number 3, tandem parachute jump.
Oh, that's on my list. Skydiving. I would not.
Skydiving.
I would not skydive.
I want to think I would do that.
I would be more likely to skydive. I mean, it's kind of far down on my list. I would be more likely to skydive than I would to bungee jump.
Oh, absolutely. I would definitely skydive before bungee jump or hot air balloon.
Yeah. 2 of my boys went skydiving.
They like it?
Oh, they loved it.
I think you sent me a video.
Probably.
Of them landing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not going to skydive.
What else is on your list?
Would you, David, if given the opportunity, you were 1,000 feet over the chasm and somebody took you to a glass bridge with no side rails, would you walk over the glass bridge? My answer is no way.
This is why we could never do the Amazing Race. Because we would fight over who would have to do the tightrope walking. Who would have to do the crazy things.
Well, but they're doing that and they're harnessed.
Right, but you can't have a bridge without railings. It's got to have railings. But anyway.
Even if it did have railings, I wouldn't do it.
Because I would get out halfway and there'd be a freak rainstorm. And now it's an ice path. But I would not. Yeah. I couldn't do it because it's glass.
Man, I went up to not the Empire State Building, but the other tall building that everybody goes to the top of. Like the other tall building. One of the other tall buildings in New York. And you walk up and all it is a plate of glass. And I'm like, I am not standing next to this plate of glass because it's glass.
Is that the building?
It's not going to break, but I still don't want to stand next to it.
No, Sleepless in Seattle was Empire State Building.
That was the Empire State Building. And the Empire State Building's not the least bit scary to me because, I mean, it's just like from your chest up that you're looking out over the side.
Well,
all off of that.
When I was younger, when I would go to King's Dominion, they had the miniature Eiffel Tower, not the real one, obviously.
You don't really? It wasn't the real one?
It wasn't the real one. But I still didn't like walking to the edge where the railing was because my luck, if I had sunglasses on or a hat on, it was going over. Something would happen and it would fall over.
Or me. And see, here's the thing, David. I know this is totally unreasonable. It's like I know I'm not going to fall. I know I'm not going to fall. And yet if I'm at a baseball stadium, I will not sit on that front row in front of that rail. Of course, people have fallen off the rails and died.
Oh yeah.
But it's not like I actually think I'm going to fall or I actually think that I'm in danger. It's just anxiety just overwhelms me. I was in Israel or Jerusalem and they had this trolley thing, this big old thing like you see in movies where they go up to the top of ski slopes. Yeah. And it was like up to the King Herod's big mountain plateau.
It was a gondola.
I don't know what it was.
That's the ride, yeah.
What?
It's an enclosed ride that you get in to go up
Yeah,
top of it.
yeah. I mean, it was
It's a
going
gondola,
super high and super far, and it took me like I had my ticket and I was by the door, and I was like hyperventilating. I was like having a panic attack. But I'm like, I am here. I'll never be here again. So
Right.
I forced myself to get on it, and it just freaked me out the whole way up.
We rode the gondola ride in Vail, Colorado, and you go from the bottom. It's the biggest hill. You go from the bottom. It's a clear, sunny day, blue sky energy all over the place. It's beautiful. But by the time you get to the top of the mountain, you're in a snowstorm and you cannot see, which probably would help me get to the top of that hill without looking over the sides. Because I don't even lean over the little sky ride Busch Gardens. I'm just one of those that sits on my seat and stays there. But I forgot what I was going to say now. But the other thing, have you seen the video where the guy is climbing the tower? It's like a cell phone tower to replace something at the top.
First time I watched that, I had to turn it off. I had too much anxiety watching it.
We're like the same person in some respects because I guess we're both height problems.
The dude he undoes his harness.
Yes, to move it up, to play with the tools.
No, he actually undoes it to go to the top. I've heard that those guys, they don't like the harness. So like they'll just not use it.
So how are we on time? Because I got one more story about fear.
Well, I got a couple more things I don't want to do.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we're at like 32 minutes.
Okay.
So ain't no way in the world I'm cliff diving.
Oh, no.
Unless it's, if it's like 50 feet, I'll probably do that. But
I mean, I've jumped off high spots before. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely not diving because I'm not a professional cliff diver. But yeah, I mean, I've jumped, but it's like 20 feet.
Yeah, it's not cliff diving isn't too bad. But okay, here's the last one on my list that I would not do. That's vacation related. I have one more thing, but it's not vacation related. You know how you see those guys that they have these little tents and they sleep on the side of a mountain?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that ain't it. No. I'm being held up thousands of feet by a rope.
Yeah.
That's hammered into the rock.
Gosh. Oh, that gives me anxiety to watching them hammer those pins into the rocks. I'm like, there's no way. There's not a pin big enough.
No.
That I would trust.
Have you seen the video, the documentary about the guy that does free climbing?
No.
Oh.
Is that what Tom Cruise is doing in Mission Impossible?
I don't know.
Yeah, when he's climbing that rock.
Yeah. All right. The last thing, it's not vacation related, but I would not spend the night in a haunted house.
Oh, never.
Ain't happening. I wouldn't even no. Mm-mm.
The closest I would come to a haunted forest was to work in one, which I spent weeks out there in the daylight, which allowed me to go through it easily at night. Yeah. I was part of a scene, and then I was a tour guide through the haunted forest. It was a fundraiser type thing. That's the closest I've come to that.
I've got to tell you my tattoo thing, but go ahead and do your last thing.
Let me tell you one last thing of fear. And I was literally scared that I was going to be really, probably not dead, but really hurt. So
you think you were as scared as me when I was in the lake and I was like seconds from dying?
No, but it was a different scare because I thought I was going to be paralyzed. Or maimed, Yeah. Different fear, but it was a stupid fear because I put myself in the situation. So we go to Six Flags up in Maryland.
Uh-huh.
It's me and Terry and Terry's sister, Angela and Randy, and our kids. And the kid, it's a hot day, but we're having a great time, a lot of great rides. And there's a ride called Two-Face. It's a suspended roller coaster that goes back and it goes up and back and up. Yeah. And nobody wants to ride it but me and Randy. And we're in line. By the time we get to the line, the only seats open are on the end. So, oh, cool, we're on the end. So me being a big guy, probably wasn't as big as I am now, but I was big. We get in the seats, and when I get on a roller coaster, I don't mind coming out of my seat. I don't mind that at all because I think it's fun. I don't like it where my chest hurts when I get off. So I pull down the overhead, and it's a bar, U-bar, it comes all the way around. But I don't pull it down until my stomach hurts. I just pull it down until I feel, okay, I can.
But don't they check it?
Yeah, but at the same time, you pull up the lower strap, and it connects to the bar.
Sure.
So you're in, it's a Y protection. Up the middle and then a bar. And it's all they check is that it doesn't come up. They just check that it's locked. If I want to cinch it tighter, I can. But I don't want to. I want to enjoy the ride and move a little bit. So here we go. The ride goes forward first. And we're on the other end, and we're at the front. So we're at the front of the centipede, suspended. Our feet are not touching anything. We're just sitting up in the seats. And the ride starts going forward, and it goes slow.
Yeah.
And it takes you up. So Randy and I are facing the sky, just looking up and like, dude, this is kind of a neat seat up here. This is cool. We can see the park and everything. It's cool. It's awesome. And then it releases, and we go down all the way to the other side till we're facing forward.
And now you're just down. Like laying on the thing that's holding you in.
Then it goes forward again, and we're back up. And then it goes down again, but it's slowing down. And it goes up, and now the people at the other end have the top seats, and we have the lowest seats facing the ground, almost perpendicular to the ground, horizontal to the ground.
Right.
Well, my seatbelt is not as tight as it should be. So I start sliding. I'm facing the ground, higher up than probably the waterfall, and I start sliding to the point where my shoulders aren't touching the bar anymore. I'm getting crushed where the bottom strap is, and I want to call out to Randy, and I can't talk. I want to scream, go, make it go, make it go.
So you weren't really in danger of, I guess if
that belt had come loose, because I was put all my pressure on my body weight was on that belt. I wasn't even touching the U-bar anymore. The strap on my chest was not touching. I am literally holding on. Should have been processing that this belt was not going to come loose, but with my luck, the bungee cord snaps or it's the wrong cord, and I'm just holding. And it's like we're sitting up there for what felt like a half hour.
Yeah.
It was probably all of 15 seconds, 20 seconds. But that was probably one. And I've been on some great scary roller coasters. Yeah. That was my scariest moment on the roller coaster.
I mean, how many times did it go back and forth with you almost dying?
When it went back and forth, it wasn't bad because it stopped and went right back the other way.
Oh, it's when it was held there.
And then we were facing down. We were at the bottom of the roller coaster, but facing down. And I'm looking at where I'm going to land.
Yeah.
I'm wondering where I'm going to hit. And I was seriously looking down thinking, this is where I fall out of a roller coaster because I was too stupid. Ever since then, now, all the way down. Can you breathe?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm good.
And you ask for 3 seatbelts.
Can I have one on each side too? And an extender so it goes around my head and keeps me to the.
Man, I went to Universal Studios once and I got on the Harry Potter ride.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, go there. And I went and sat down and the thing wouldn't latch because I was too big. And I had to get off and I had to wait for the big guy seat.
Yeah.
That wasn't cool. Anyway, tattoo. Are you ready for the tattoo?
Let's close with your tattoo story.
We're going to close. It's not a story.
Well, your result.
You asked me what tattoo I would get and where. And I was not prepared for this. And I didn't know. I in fact, tonight, it took me a good 10 minutes to figure out what I would do.
Yeah.
Now, what would you do? I don't remember.
All right. So I would put 7/14/90 on my arm.
That's right, because we joked about putting your wife's name on there
and having a column.
And if she passed away, you'd have to only date someone named Terry with an I. Or you would just scratch it off and write another name underneath.
Change the year. Just give me change the year.
Okay, so this really isn't a funny thing other than my wife. I mean, this is serious. If I was going to get a tattoo, this is really what I would do. Okay. I would put it on my shoulder. Well, you know what I'm talking about. The big part of your arm where people put tattoos.
Yeah.
And it would just be simply Joshua 1:9.
What about Nathan and Timothy?
No, Joshua 1:9 is a scripture verse, you idiot.
I know.
So, but I told Connie where I was going to put it. And she said, what? You need to put it on your butt cheek. And I said, I'm not going to sit on a scripture verse, Connie.
She wanted
said,
you to
you don't want anybody to see it.
Oh my gosh.
She said, you don't want anybody to see it. And I was like, Connie, David said it has to be where people can see it.
What's the point of getting a tattoo if you're not going to show it?
No. And you know what? I'm actually thinking about it now. Joshua 1:9 would be awesome. It's my life verse. Have I not commanded you? Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. That'd be awesome to put on my shoulder. I'm actually now thinking about it.
We've got a pastor.
Honey, I'm going to get that tattoo. I really want to now. What? Connie
blaming
said,
me?
No, Connie said, instead of standing on the word of God, you're sitting on it.
Way to end our podcast, Connie.
Sit down on it. Sit down on it. How you gonna boogie if you really don't want to dance? By standing on the wall. What's the next line?
The wall. I don't
Get
know.
you back up off the wall.
Oh, no.
All right. Well, David, you know what we have?
We have the end of a podcast.
We do, and we also have a Facebook group.
Oh, yeah.
That only one person has joined in the last month and a half.
Cool. One a month. We'll take it.
Yeah. And there's not a lot of talk on there right now. But, that's fine. Facebook.com/group/all-meet. Actually, I don't go there very often. And the last time I went there, it was like, oh, there's a comment. Because it didn't show up in my notifications. So now I go there just to make sure. So anyway, we got that Facebook group. Is there anything else that we're not talking about that we're supposed to be talking about? I don't want to get off. I hate that we only do 40 minutes at the most. I mean, I'm glad we do because it's what we wanted with this show. But I have so much fun doing this that I don't want to stop. So,
you know what we should do? Another episode.
No, I don't want to.
Next week. No, next week.
Yeah, next week. Oh, whenever y'all come for vacation in June, July, or August, way to narrow it down, David. Yep. When you come to vacation, we'll get to do a podcast with our wives.
We've done one with our wives. But
we haven't?
Yes, we have. But we'll get to do one in person. It'll be the first time we've done one in person.
And that will be an unlimited length episode.
You don't remember the one we did with our wives?
No.
It was about Summersby.
Oh, yeah. I want to do one where like our wives talk about things that bug them about us and stuff. But we won't say that about them because,
that'll be a short episode on my part. It'll be a long on your part.
It's true. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so Facebook group, go there. That's all I got. How about you, Dave?
I'm good.
All right. See ya.
See ya.